Well, Reds, welcome back to the show. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you as part of the offering on the upper tier. If you hit that subscribe and like button, of course, and hit the bell notification. I'm going to take a look back at the transfer window for Liverpool. Absolutely diabolical. We've been really let down here, and it's a case of who have we been let down by. Ultimately, it lands on FSG, but primarily it was Hughes and Edwards who were commanded with delivering this transfer window, and boy did it fall way short. Really disappointing. Really disappointing as well from Arne Slot's point of view as well. I thought they really would have went into the transfer window and laid down a statement and give him everything that he needed to be successful this season, especially on the back of Jurgen leaving. It was really important that this would happen, but it didn't. So to summarise, let's go through the transfer window. 2 signings, 6 sales, 14 loans and 11 releases. The incomings, Chiesa 12.5 million and Marmadashvili 29 million. So really one signing in a position where we have at times asked for competition for Mo Salah. Not just competition, but also backup for him as well, to rest him at times and stuff like that when appropriate. That he plays far too many minutes, and hence we get that kind of little drop off at the end of the season, stuff like that. Not dissimilar to Saka at Arsenal. So Chiesa will come in and do that job, and certainly in isolation, when you look at that signing, it's a reasonable signing. We also have to be aware of the injuries and stuff like that, but for 12.5 million, probably worth the risk. The boys have said it on the WhatsApp group as well. But really important that we be careful about this situation, because obviously there is injury issues there. He has done an ACL. He hasn't looked anything like the player he was prior to the ACL, which is not unusual for players. But maybe a change of scenery, different method maybe of training. And Arne Slot spoke about in his press conference as well that the science and technical group of course are going to look at that as well and everything, give him every opportunity to remain fit, to get minutes and all that kind of stuff. Marmadashvili, I can see why they did it. We've always spoke about future proofing and stuff like that, and it looks like now from a goalkeeping point of view we're in good hands. Have they made this move on the basis, as Allison said, he's there for one more season, as Queeveen said, no matter what he's going next summer? Who knows, but we future proof of that. This is a really good keeper, and a 29 million is a very good deal. But that was not the story of our transfer window. The story of our transfer window was that we needed a DM. The story of our transfer window was that we needed a left back. The story of our transfer window was we needed more cover in the centre back positions. And therein we have it. None of those positions were fulfilled. So let's talk about sales. Carvalho going out the door 27.5, Van den Berg 25, Bobby Clark 10, Blair went out for 600k, and Cometio and Araujo went out undisclosed. So if you take that into account, then our releases were, of course, Matip left, Thiago left, Adrian, Musilowski and Freundorf all went out, just to name a few, because obviously there's a lot more. There was 11 in total. But there's no point in going right down through the whole spiel, because a lot of it doesn't affect the first team or the first team squad. On top of that, then we had loan deals. Nat Phillips went out yesterday, Reece Williams went out, Petteluga went out, Gordon, Chambers, Scanlon, Doak, Kumas, Marmadashvili, who we spoke about, Ramsey, Beck and Bietic out the door on loan for the season. A real clearing of the decks when you look at it and stuff like that, and especially the likes of Bietic is a him and Doak certainly stick out in that list. Phillips, we love Nat Phillips, of course, and Reece Williams, the job they did that season for us. But they've just constantly always been on the fringes, and I don't know why they don't just cut themselves loose and get out of there rather than going on a loan. It's beyond me. So that is really the summary of our transfer window. Really poor. Now, I do get it when you're in and around challenging for the title, and you do have a really good squad as we do. Really good 11 anyway as we do, potentially squad. You're trying to fill pockets, and you're looking for certain kind of players you know, and we've tried now, I think, for 4 windows at this stage to bring in a DM, and we have failed. You know, you go back to Tchouaméni, Lavia, you know, Bellingham, all these different players that we tried to bring in, and recently Zubamendi, who we failed at. But surely there has to be another one out there. Surely Zubamendi wasn't the only 6 on the planet that was suitable. So that's why I ask, who's kind of really held accountable on this? Did FSG provide the funds? Well, they put up the 45 or the 50 million or whatever it was for Zubamendi, so that money was there. We know that money was there because it was the bid was lodged, the release clause was lodged. So the question is, between Edwards and Hughes, are they sticklers in terms of, and we know Edwards is, in terms of ticking every single box, and if you do the analytics and it doesn't tick every single box, is that when we pass? And we seen yesterday this token crap about linked with Alan Varela and all that kind of stuff. You don't get linked with Alan Varela with about 6 hours to go in the window and think it's going to happen. It's absolute bullshit, and we know it's bullshit. But what's happened here is, once again, we have found ourselves wanting in key positions that needed to be fulfilled, and we didn't fulfill them, and it will come home to roost. There's no doubt about it. We could go out tomorrow and beat Man United. We could go into the international break 9 points out of 9, potentially 3 clean sheets. Couldn't look any better, more than what we could have probably expected, maybe. But the reality is, at some stage in this season, Van Dijk's going to get injured potentially. At some stage in this season, Mo Salah might be out. At some stage this season, Ryan Gravenberch may not be the answer to the 6. Being the answer to the 6 against Ipswich and against Brentford is very different than being the answer to the 6 against Real Madrid, or against AC Milan in the San Siro, or against Man City in the league. Very, very different world. So overall, a really, really, really poor transfer window. And a transfer window that probably offered so much, and we were so excited. Edwards coming back in as CEO, Richard Hughes coming in with a great CV, and we thought these are the guys that are going to deliver the signings that we need. We're going in a new direction now, and somewhat we accepted the leaving and the sacrificing of Jurgen Klopp for these 2 boys coming in somewhat, and it's been really, really poor. If you look at the volume that has gone out the door, it's absolute crazy that we didn't do some business, real business. But we shall see. It'll come home to roost, and once again, I think we've been sold a bum deal, really. But let's see what happens. Folks, let me know your thoughts on the transfer window. Really, really disappointing for all us Liverpool fans at the moment. And again, looking at our rivals who are there, and the likes of Arsenal and Man City and all, who didn't do a huge amount of business as well. I mean, Arsenal fans are up in arms really at the moment at Raheem Sterling and not getting in the forward that they wanted. And rightly so. And we're the same. We're in the same position. We really should have gotten in. We really should have really strengthened this team with some real quality, creating plenty of competition and also plenty of really good, solid, world-class quality backup. But we didn't, and that will come home to roost. And once again, we find ourselves as Reds fans in a position where we're going, what might have been. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Disastrous transfer window, but of course probably not surprising. Until next time, folks, hit the subscribe button, bell notification, and drop a like in the video. Really appreciate it, especially during these tough times when we're not getting what we want. Cheers.